All right. Can you see me there for a second? Hello. We're going to go ahead and get started with Google Certification Level 1. So what this session is all about is how to become certified and what to expect on the test and what to study or how to study for the Google Level 1 certification. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. Remember, our hashtag on Twitter is hashtag EC Global. So make sure that you are tweeting about this awesome event. We were trending yesterday. We want to be trending again today. So make sure that you are tweeting about all the awesome things that you are learning. On Twitter, I am at Educator Alex, and my name is Desiree Alexander. You can get this presentation and other awesome resources on my website, educatoralexander.com. So definitely jot that down because you can get again, this presentation and other really helpful resources. So we're going to hop right in. I keep moving this little thing around. I probably need to learn how to just take it off, but oh well. Oh well. All right. So who am I? I'm the Regional Director of North Louisiana for the Associated Professional Educators of Louisiana, which is an educational nonprofit. And I'm the founder CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting. So that's who I am. Yay. When it comes to Google, I am Google Certified Level 1, Level 2, Google Certified Trainer, Google Certified Innovator, and the Google Certified Associate for G Suite, the G Suite Administrator certification. So I say that to say I love this, my Google. So if you ever have any questions or anything like that, definitely reach out. My email is at educatoralexander@gmail. So you don't need this code, so you don't have to write it down, but anytime you take a class from someone, so like this class is about like what to expect and like the intro to it, so you're not going to like be learning click here to do this kind of thing. But if you actually take a class from somebody, they are going to have a trainer ID if they are a certified trainer. So if you really want to take one from a certified trainer, ask them for their trainer ID. And then what you do is when you register for the test, you're actually going to put in that trainer ID, and they keep track of our percentage of how many people pass when they take your class. And I'm happy to say I'm at 100%, so that's really good. But there you go. What's the purpose? Why in the world would I become Google certified for Level 1? So the purpose of the exam is to show that not only do you know how to use Google, but you know how to use Google for educational purposes, for teaching purposes. So the exam certifies that, I'm not going to sit here and read to you, but that you have the skills to implement Google in the classroom. So what that means is some of the questions are going to concentrate on digital citizenship, are going to concentrate on you using technology in general in the classroom. But I have some resources that'll help you answer those questions. So some exam information. Do register at least 2 days before you want to take the exam. Honestly, most of the time you register in a couple of hours, you get the email. Sometimes in a couple of minutes, you get the email that you need to take the test. However, sometimes they do have some hang-ups. So they do tell you to register 2 or more days before you actually want to take the test. And that's the link to register. If you're like, who's going to write down that big old link? Remember, you have access to this PowerPoint on my website. Okay, and I'll show you where to get it at the end. So you have access to this PowerPoint. So you can just click on the link. Because I also have some resources at the end that can help you out too. I see we have some more people joining us, so I do want to say, if you have a question, just unmute your mic and ask. We're family, right? Or you can type it in the chat box. So either way, and if I see a chat come in, I'll just go ahead and get to it right then and there. So any questions, let me know. The cost of the test is $10, so it's not gonna, break you by any means. It is a 3-hour test with no pauses. So I tell people, they'll ask me, okay, it's a 3-hour test, but how long will it take? 3 hours, okay? Give yourself the entire time. Even if you're pretty googly, give yourself the entire time, okay? And you'll see why as we go through this information. but it's 3 hours with no pauses. So you can't just pause it and like go to the restroom. If you go to the restroom, that time is ticking away. The main reason people fail the test is because they run out of time. So keep that in mind. You want to definitely use your time wisely. And I may be skipping a little bit ahead here, but you also want to make sure that you have a quiet place for that entire 3 hours. So you may need to, you know, escape your house and escape your family and go to the library or something like that to take the test. But you want to have a place where you can sit for 3 hours with no distractions and things like that, and take the test. So you do need a webcam for the test. So I've had people that will email me and say, well, I have a computer, but there's no webcam. You have to have a webcam. There's nothing you can do about that. So you need to go and buy an external webcam or whatever, but you're going to need a webcam to take this test. So what happens with your webcam is right at the beginning, when you're, you know, going through the instructions and all that, it'll take a picture of you. And you'll say something like, this picture will be on your certificate, blah, blah, blah. It won't be on your certificate. I remember seeing that and I was like, ooh, lipstick and making my... I've never seen that picture again. I don't know, it went to the Hall of Fame or something. I have no clue. So don't worry about that part of it, but they will take a picture of you. And then throughout the test, you're going to leave that window open and it's going to consistently take pictures of you while you're testing. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you wake up and you're all crusty and you do want to, you know, at least comb your hair before you start taking the test. Your certification is valid for 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, you will take the test again. But it is valid for 3 years, so you're good for that 3 years once you get it. You do have 7 days to take the exam once you register for the exam. So that means don't register today and you plan on taking it next month. You need to register 2 to 3 days before, but whenever they send you that information, and we'll talk about what I mean by that, but when they send you that email to say you are ready to test, you have 7 days to take that test. So you want to keep that in mind and make sure that you only register when you're actually ready to take it. And you do have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. That's an NDA. And all that is saying is you are not going to discuss the test. You know, you're not going to copy and paste test questions and post them somewhere. Now, and that's what I mean by discuss. Now, the stuff that I'm doing, of course, you know, but I'm not taking specific test questions and telling you about them. So that you will sign that NDA. Stuff you need to do is you need to decide, let me make sure I didn't skip, I feel like I skipped something. Okay. You need to decide what account you want to use. Do you want to register? Do you want to use your school account to register? Do you want to use your personal account to register? I do suggest you use your personal account, because if you use your school account, different things could come up. You could leave your school. I know, the thought, you would never. You can leave your district or your school. You can also, your school or district may reconfigure your email. So if you've ever gone through a reconfiguration, you know how crazy that can be, where they went from Desiree.Alexander to D.Alexander. Now you have to go change it everywhere. So you want to, I suggest, or the best practice suggestion is that you use your personal Gmail or Google Suite or G Suite account to sign up for the test. And that way you can always get to it. When you take the test, you're going to have to use an incognito window. So if you don't know how to do that, if you remind me at the end of this, I can hurry up and show you. But that is a skill that you need to know for the test too. So you're going to use an incognito window, because incognito windows don't keep cookies and cache and all that stuff. So it's kind of a cleaner work experience. So you are going to have to open, and nobody signed in. It doesn't hold sign-ins and things like that. So you're going to have to open the incognito window, and they are going to give you an account to use. Okay, so they will give you an account to use. So in that email that you get, you're going to get a G Suite username and password. So they'll give you the account to use, because they may tell you to do something like share this document with Juan Sanchez. Well, they've already put Juan Sanchez into your contacts, and they've already put the document into your Google Drive. Does that make sense? So you don't have to worry about using your personal account information to take the test. They're going to give you an account to use. That's another reason why you're using an incognito window. This is an open book test. You can use notes. You can use Google search. Honestly, that's why most people fail the test, is because they run out of time because they're looking up everything. You have to have some skills before you sit down to take this test. Okay, if you need to look up every single step and every single question, you're going to run out of the 3-hour time. Excuse me, we're going to talk about question types in a second. So you're going to run out of time if you have to look every single thing up. However, you can have your notes open. You can have your best resources open, which I'm going to give you some of those. You can Google search. So this is an open book test. You have 2 sections. You have questions and scenarios, and we're going to go through each one of those. You must use the latest version of Chrome and a webcam, and when you pass, you get a badge and you get a certificate. And the certificate will tell you when your certification expires, so you can kind of keep track of that. Keep track of that date. If you fail, which we're not going to, right? But if you fail the first time, you have to wait 14 days to take the test again. If you fail twice, you have to wait 60 days to take the test again. And if you fail 3 times, you have to wait a year to take the test again. Each time you take the test, it is $10. You register each time. So this is not a test that you can like take every week and just swing it every time you take it, because it's only $10. So you do have those weights. Let's see, I think we have a question. Hello, Coach Steele. All right. Let's see. Any questions, guys? I promise you, just unmute your mic or go to the chat. All right. So Google offers you a fundamentals course, and this is the link. If you're new, if you just joined us, you have access to this PowerPoint on my website, educatoralexander.com. And I'm going to show you right at the end exactly where to go to get it. Okay. So you can click on this link and go to the fundamentals course. The fundamentals course honestly goes through every single thing you need to know for this test and a whole bunch more. Okay. So if you're like, okay, I kind of know Google, but I really need to learn a lot more, this is the course for you. It is very text heavy. It's very, they have, I think they have videos and stuff, but it's very text heavy. So that's why a lot of people like to go and just take a class. So it's really up to you. Like I tell people, I offer a class. I'm not self-promoting, but I am. I offer a Google certification class. I do it in person. I do it in webinar, and I have a self-paced class that you just buy online and just go do yourself. It's about 6 hours that goes through everything you need to know for the test. Now, you don't have to do that. You can do it for free. Okay, so that's how I tell people. I'm like, you don't have to, even though my course is much cheaper than a lot of the tremendous amount of money that I see people spending for these kind of courses, you can do it yourself. If you have the time to go through the fundamentals course, now again, because it's text heavy, it's some time that you're going to put into it, but you can do it. The only thing you have to pay is the $10 to take this test. If you go through that fundamentals course, Google has set up everything that you need to pass this test for free. Okay. But if you do take like somebody else's class or my class or whatever, I do suggest that you go through using Unit 1, Unit 13, and the unit reviews. At the end of every unit, you have questions. So I do suggest going through those questions so you can see, do you know the answers to these questions? Because if you get every one of them wrong, you need to go through that course. Right? You need to go read that material. But if you get all of them right, you may be able to, excuse my sciences are going crazy. You may be able to actually skip that section. So do look at the little unit reviews, the little questions at the end of every section. But do Unit 1 and 13. Why? Unit 1 and 13 cover digital citizenship type of stuff, because again, this test is not just do you know Google, is can you use Google in education, and part of that is using technology in education, and part of that is digital citizenship. So if you don't go through any of the other units, do check out Unit 1 and 13. And this is a really helpful resource by Katia Blunt. And what she did is she went through, I guess I can go ahead and click on it and show it to you. What she did is she went through, I forgot I was sharing my screen, so that's awesome. She went through the fundamentals course, and she kind of put what is in each unit and what topics you would get through in each unit. So if you come here and you're like, you know what, I know I need more help with sheets, I may want to go through unit 3 and see what they're teaching me. So there you go. So there you go. So she made this resource, and then these are actually will lead you to, oh, that's not good. Oh, I wonder if, oh, okay, that was just that one. Okay, but so it leads you to some help, the help screens for create a game in Google Hangout. This is how you do that. So this is a really good resource, and I asked her because I was like, why reinvent the wheel? She's already done it. It's amazing. So I asked her if I can share it with people that pay for my class, and she said, yeah. But now when I do this course, it's like introduction to it, I share it as well. So it's a really good resource. Types of questions. So you have your multiple choice, true, false, drag and drop. You're going to have 20 to 25 of those. So this is an example of a multiple choice question. They really like to ask you to choose a certain amount of answers, so you definitely want to look out for that. So, for example, and I'm going to read to you, objective, which I hate doing. Use technology to move beyond textbook-based instruction. Students in your history class are having difficulty understanding the significance of World War II. What activities could help students get more engaged? I'm going to let you read answers A, B, C, D. Throw it in the chat. Which answer do you think? Uh-oh, I keep doing that. Okay, I see A. So what mistake did Coach Steele make? Ta-da! Choose 2 answers. It's just like, choose 2 answers. So make sure, because on that test, again, people, the main reason people fail is because they run out of time. But this is that kind of stuff too, where they're getting stuff wrong that they know, right? Just because they're not looking at the choose 3 answers, choose 2 answers. So A and C are correct. She's awesome. So I told y'all she was awesome. So A and C are correct. So they're both student driven. Notice the student's will. The D also starts with students, but it's talking about questions at the end of a chapter. The objective tells you that you're moving beyond textbook-based instruction. So why would that be my answer, right? So A and C are my answers. This is an example of the drag and drop. So what it will do is it'll give you, like you see how it says feature and benefit. So, and this comes straight from Google. So these are the Google examples. So for Gmail, you have canned responses, anytime, anywhere, accessing labels. And then they will have benefits over here. And you have to say, oh, that third benefit goes with canned responses. And you would just literally drag and drop it up there. So you have some of those questions as well. The PDF with the questions, all these, you know, if it looks like a big old super hyperlink, it's a big old super hyperlink. So it gives you, look, that's that right there. So it gives you some, just a little quick sheet of some ones you can look at. Then you have the performance-based scenario. So you have about 20 to 25 multiple choice, true and false, drag and drop. And then this is what takes you most of the time, the performance-based scenarios. So that is when they give you a scenario and they tell you to go do stuff. The scenarios are not, how do I want to put that? They are not specific to a certain product. So it's not like, this is the Google Forms scenario. No, it may be in that same scenario, they may have you using a doc, a form, a sheet, and Gmail, right? So, because they're giving you steps to do. So they may say, go to the doc and change the name to this. Then go to Gmail and send that document as an attachment to Juan Sanchez. Then go to Google Forms. So they usually are telling you different stuff to do. I started yawning during this. This is my 3rd hour straight teaching, and I love it. And I have no clue why I'm starting to yawn, because I'm like all into it and happy. Yawning sucks. All right. Even though I yawn all the time, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. All right. So, for example, this, I'm not going to read everything, but this one tells you to access a form, view the results in your spreadsheet. So if you know how to go to forms, or you know how to go to Google Drive and pick the form called election opinions, but you don't know how to see the results in your spreadsheet, you're going to be looking that up. If you don't know how to sort the sheet based on student first name in ascending alphabetical order, you're going to be looking that up. If you don't know how to create that pie chart, you're going to be looking that up. So you see why this test can take you 3 hours, right? And you can also see why you may run out of time. So you want to make sure that you have basic skills before you go sit at that test, because you do not have time to look every step up. You just don't. Okay, so you have about 12, well, you have 12 of these performance-based scenarios, and I will tell you, you do have to go in order. So it gives you the multiple choice and all that questions first, and then it gives you the scenario question. Another performance-based questions, find the award winners video on the YouTube channel, add a poll with the following questions, provide your own answers, share the video with your students. If you get something that says, provide your own answers, don't try to make them, don't try to impress anybody. A computer is grading this. So if it says provide your own answers, you know, my answers can be blue, yellow, green, red. Just put something right quick and move on. A computer is grading it. If it says name the file what you want to, name it dog and move on. Don't try to, put something all elaborate and impress people. Nobody cares. A computer is grading. Okay. So some tips. Decide. I think I said this early. I said one of these. This first tip. I talked about it earlier. But you want to decide what account to use. I already talked about that. The best tip. The best practice is to use your personal account. And I've already told you why. So I'm not going to go into that again. Decide what device to use. So you can think about your laptop, your desktop. Oh, question? You okay? Are you okay? I hope I'm not messing up your name, but is it Tizania? Are you okay? Okay. You sure? Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any, coughing fits? I'm happening. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. Okay, so she said she was okay. I'm hoping she's okay. Okay, all right, so let's get off of here and here. Okay, so decide what device you want to use. Best practice is to use a laptop. Why? Why a laptop over a Chromebook or a Mac, or now if you're used to using a Mac, same thing as laptop. But PC or Mac, laptop. Desktops, the only reason people usually don't use a desktop is because you need a webcam. But if you have an external webcam, you're just fine. But I suggest desktop, laptop, Mac over Chromebook, because on your Chromebook, things are in different places. You may not be able to do the path that it's telling you to take, and I'll explain that in a second. So best practice is to use more of a PC-based item. device. And it's kind of weird because you're like, well, it's Google, I should use a Chromebook. And again, it's up to you, but it's just best practice to use a laptop, desktop, Mac. Decide on one device or two. So some people like to, because you can look stuff up, some people like to have one device where they're testing and then the other device where they're looking stuff up. So it's up to you. Some people just open up multiple screens, right? You're testing in incognito. So some people will be testing in incognito and then they'll have like they're not incognito. It really, and I've done it multiple ways. Usually I'll start with the incognito and the regular window, and then I'm going so fast and trying to look stuff up that I'm looking stuff up all in the incognito window by the end. So it really doesn't matter. But do what you're comfortable with. But why I tell you to do this ahead of time is because you don't want to start the test and then go, I can use my Chromebook. And then you're spending 20 minutes looking for your Chromebook and getting logged into your Chromebook. And, so think about all this stuff ahead of time. So if you want two devices, you can have them set up when you're ready to test. You have your window open. You've combed your hair, right? You're ready for the webcam and you're ready to go. Have your favorite Google resources open and ready to go. I'm going to give you some resources in a second. You want to think about pinging your tabs. If you don't know how to do that, you can definitely look it up, or I can show you at the end if you remind me during when I ask for any questions. And remember, you can ask any questions anytime, guys. Just hop on in. But you ping your tab. When you ping your tab, if you mistakenly close the window or anything like that, when you bring it back up, the tab is still open for you. So I do suggest, and it makes all your tabs go to the left and they just kind of hang out in like a little mini tab. So I suggest pinging the questions, like the quiz, the test itself, and pinging the Google Drive that they send you, because you're going to keep going back to that Google Drive, right? So those are the two that I suggest pinging, and then everything else you can do whatever you want to with. But I do suggest pinging the questions so you always know to go back to the left for your questions, right? Or that drive that they give you. You also want to know your keyboard shortcuts, because using your mouse and the right click doesn't always work to copy. And why would I want to copy? When the test and I'm not going to get ahead of myself with the next screen, but when the test tells you to name something a certain file type, because the computer is grading it, it has to be exact. So if you put an S on, looking at the time, oh, we're good. So if you put an S on something where they didn't put an S on something, it's going to be marked wrong. Remember, a computer is grading this, right? So if you put a period behind something and they didn't tell you to do that, it's going to be marked wrong. If you, I don't know about capitalization. I don't know if it's that picky, but put it, I would say yes, honestly. Because even in Google Forms and things like that, the answer is case sensitive. So I would say yes. So what you want to do is, if it tells you, go to Google Drive, create a folder, and name it Alexander's Test Time, I'm usually going to just highlight that and copy it and paste it. So that way I know doggone well that I'm doing exactly what they told me to do, because I'm copying it directly from the test. Okay. But sometimes that right click may not work. So I'll have to use my keyboard shortcut. So your Control C is to copy. Your Control V is to paste. Your Control A is to select all. So if they say, I mean, they probably won't tell you to do this, but if they say, go to your Google Drive folder and delete everything in the folder, instead of you like dragging, you know how we usually do like that, or instead of you like click, click, click with the shift key and all that kind of stuff, Control A selects it all and you can do whatever they tell you to do. Control Z is the undo. So if you delete something by mistake, you can hit Control Z and it will usually bring it back. So that's your like emergency undo button. I already talked about this, to have a quiet place for all the time. I get so like into this, I start saying stuff early. And so of course you want to create that quiet place for the entire 3 hours. Practice by clicking. What I mean by that is, whether you go through the fundamentals course for free, whether you take somebody's course, for example, with my course, I show you like the content we're about to go through. So I show you, hey, this is Google Chrome. This is where you click. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Don't just look at that and go, got it. No, go to your account and start clicking. Click on those things that I'm telling you to click on, because it's going to help you when you get to that test, right? So not only does it help a certain learning style, but it helps you know, oh, hey, that's where I remember clicking. So even if you don't need the kinesthetic learning style, it helps just for your memory. It helps you know, oh, I remember when I clicked here, it did this. Desiree said it would do this. It did that, but it also did this. So let me see what, you just never know what you're going to get. So practice by clicking. Go there, especially those Google apps that you're not used to using. Go and click on it. Don't have you click on Google Sites for the very first time on the test, right? Go and click on it. So practice by clicking. And then you have your little time savers. And I can actually show you this because I'm sharing my screen, so that's cool. So Google as the home page. Let me get out of here. So Google as the home page in the left corner. So if you are on a Google product, let's say you're on your Drive, for example. Why am I not logged in? If I come here and click on Drive, that's going to bring me back. So let's say I was in my share it with me, and I was in a folder. I'm just clicking on stuff. If I come here and click on Drive, it's going to bring me back to my Drive. So instead of me trying to find my Drive, so that's just like little tips. Anytime you see the Rubik's Cube, that's going to take you to, or the waffle, whatever you want to call it. If you don't know what a Rubik's Cube is, log off, youngin. This is going to take you to, don't log off, youngin, we love you. This is going to take you to all of the different Google products. I have that extension on, I already know. But that's going to take you to all of the Google products. So if you're in Google Drive and it tells you to go to Gmail, use your Rubik's Cube. That's one click and you're at Gmail. Anytime you see the hot dogs, the hamburger, the gear, that's all settings. You can always find your settings under there. Why didn't you keep me where I'm supposed to be? All right. So this is your hot dogs, your hamburger, your gear. You know that those are always going to lead to more options. They're always going to lead to settings. And why I say that is if it tells you, go turn on, and you're like, where is it? I don't see the button. But you see some hot dogs, it's always more options under the hot dogs, the gear, and the hamburger. All right. So now when I'm doing this in person, and I just did this 2 days ago, I think, I asked people, who are my Google people? I have people raise their hand, and they're like, I'm a Google person. I like using Google tools. Those are the people that this is for, because those are the people that don't follow directions, okay? The people that are like kind of shaky, they're like sweating, they're following every direction. It's my people that are like, I know this stuff. They're the ones that fail because they don't follow directions. So what do I mean by this? Of course, follow everything they tell you to do. That includes the different path. Look, I'm like, that includes the different pathways. So what I mean by that is if they say go to Gmail and add a task to your task list. And you're like, oh, I'm already in Calendar. I know I can do that in Calendar. They didn't tell you to do it in Calendar. They told you to do it in Gmail, because the computer is going to grade based on the path you take as well. So if the computer is looking for you to go to Gmail and create a task, and you go to Calendar and create a task, that does not fit, and you have just failed that question, even though you did what it told you to do, but you didn't follow the directions, okay? So hopefully that's making sense. So if it tells you to go to, I don't know, go to Google Docs and create a list of stuff you need to save, and you're like, well, I can do that in Google Keep. They didn't tell you to do it in Google Keep. They told you to do it in Google Docs. They want to know if you know how to do it in Docs. So follow directions. Do the path that is telling you to take. Let's see, chat. Exactly. Exactly. You can see her comment on the screen, so I'm not gonna read to you, but exactly. Okay. So follow the freaking directions. And usually it's the Google people who are doing this. And they're like, I know I didn't fail that test. You didn't follow the directions. Okay. So, and you didn't choose 2 answers when they told you choose 2. You didn't do that in Google Forms. You would do it in here. So just follow the directions to a T. If they tell you to go put a task on the task list and they don't tell you how to do it any way you want to do it, right? If they just say, go put this on the task list, you can do it in Gmail or in Calendar, but they don't tell you how, then just go put it on the task list. Use Calendar if you want to, use Gmail if you want to. But if they tell you something specific, they're telling you that for a reason, and that's what the computer is looking for. We already talked about copy and pasting, so I already went through that. Don't do it unless they ask for it. This is another thing that my Google people do, and you're messing yourself up. Don't do it unless they ask for it. What do I mean by that? They tell you to open up a Google form and create 3 questions and blah, blah, blah. You open up a Google form, you change the theme to a cute theme, and then you do blah, blah, blah. They did not tell you to choose a theme. Stop it. Don't do it unless they ask you to do it. You want to say, but I want them to see my cute thing. Nobody cares. It's a computer. Okay, so this is what I like to tell my Google people. You're not going to get a job at Google from your level 1 certification test. Okay, so nobody's going to be grading it at Google going, look at this baby's Google Doc. Nobody's looking at it. Okay, so don't do it unless they ask you to do it. Don't put a cute theme on it. Don't go to slides and change the format. If they don't tell you to do it, don't do it. Don't try to, and this is what I tell people for the Innovator Academy too. Don't try to impress Google with Google. They created it. And you're like, look at all the ways I use it. They're like, yeah, I created it for that. Thanks. Yay. Okay. So don't try to impress Google with Google. Just do what they tell you to do. Follow directions. Don't do it unless they ask you to do it. All right. So I'm going to scroll all the way down now so I can show you the resources, and then we'll come back up to content with the rest of our time. Again, you have access to this. I will go to my website specifically and show you exactly where to get it right at the end. So these are some resources you can use while you're testing or to help you get started with testing. So that's the fundamentals course again. That's the resource by Katia. So different things. These are some resources that you may want to have pulled up while you're testing. So this one is like a learn by product and cheat sheet. So if I needed help with Google Docs, I can click here and get some help. So this stuff, it's a cheat sheet on the different products. If you have a problem with the exam, and sometimes you do, don't freak out, okay? Because it happens. I've seen it happen in person where somebody was taking a test and the lights went out, or somebody was taking a test and the computer froze, or some stuff happens on Google side, honestly. So if something ever happens, just go put in a ticket. They're very, very good, getting back with you and doing whatever they need to do to, even if it's, giving you a voucher for $10 and striking that off, it's not like one of your first chances or whatever. They'll handle it. So don't cry, don't freak out if something happens. You're dealing with technology, it happens. Just put in a ticket, breathe through it. I know it sucks, but they will fix whatever needs to be fixed. The G Suite training extension, that's the little extension, and you can click on it and ask it questions. So that could be a good resource as well. So let me go back up to, what did I do? Move. All right, so let me go back up to talk about, well, what's on the test, Desiree? Well, let me show you. One thing that you want to know is what are the different Google products? Okay, so even though it's not going to ask you to do stuff in Vault, you want to know what Vault is because it may be one of your answer choices in multiple choice. They may ask you what Vault does. So this is a really good link right here, and it leads you to all of the Google products. And some you may not know, like what the heck is this? That's Jamboard. But you know, what the heck is this? That's App Maker. So you need to know what the Google products are and kind of just what they do. So this is a perfect resource for that. So if you are on a question and it said, in App Maker, you can create custom business apps, true or false. And you're like, what is App Maker, right? You can come here and go, oh, yep, that's true. So this is a good resource to just have up. But you do want to know what the different Google products, you don't need to know the symbols and all that, but you want to know what they do. Okay, you need to know that there is a Google product called Jamboard. So that's a good thing for that. And then these are your topics. So these are the things that they will be asking you about on the test. Google Chrome, Drive, Doc Site, Sheets, Forms, Classroom, Gmail, Hangouts, Calendar Sites, Groups, and YouTube. Okay, so if there's any on here that make you break out in a cold sweat, you need some practice with it before you go and take that test, because these are all of the things that are on the test. Sometimes some of the tests get, I like to call it like top heavy, where it'll say, like you'll be like, if you ask me one more doggone calendar question, so it'll be like a lot of questions on the same time. You're like, I hate this test. But then of course you love it if it's a topic you really love. So sometimes they get a little like concentrated. I know that's not a word. But just know that these are the topics that will show up on your test. So what I have done in this PowerPoint, and this PowerPoint is free. It is part of the class that I teach, the paid class that I teach, but you can get it for free. So not, okay, I feel like I'm not, you can't get the paid class for free. You can get this PowerPoint for free. Unless you win one of my prizes from EdChange Global, then you can get the class for free. So Google Chrome, these are the things you need to know about Google Chrome. So if you're like, okay, well, I don't have the money to pay for the class or whatever, you can do the fundamental class for free, like I already told you. You can also go and get this and just look everything up and learn it yourself if you want to. So I like to give you those options. So if you're like, okay, let me go see what an Omnibox is. Let me go see how to do incognito. Let me go see how to sign in and out of Chrome and Drive. You can do this yourself. You have access to this. Google Drive, these are the things you need to know. What is Shift-Z? How do you convert files to Google manually, and how do you do it in the settings? How do you change the color of a folder? So these are the things, and this can either be in the multiple choice section, or it can be, okay, we have 10 minutes. It can either be in the multiple choice section, or it can be in the do question. So it may say, go to Google Drive, create a folder, change the folder, change the color to blue azalea. And you have a blue azalea is not just blue. So you have to know, how do you get the name of the color? You know what I'm saying? So it's just little stuff that you just need to know how to do. That's directly from Google. Those are scenarios to practice. Okay. Google Docs, these are the things you need to know. How do you copy and paste? I mean, that's pretty. How to use Explorer to do a footnote citation, that kind of stuff. What is the difference between a footnote and a bookmark? Stuff like that. Okay, that's another scenario. Google Slides, these are the things you need to know. How do you create a title? They love asking you, how do you mask an image? How you add a video, stuff like that. Google Sheets. Organizing your Google Sheets, filtering it, doing sorting, adding charts and graphs, summing and averaging your rows and your columns, different things like that. Google Forms, you know how to create a Google form, view the responses, all that kind of stuff, how to share your form. And the scenarios come straight from the Google practice part of it. Google Classroom, of course, Google Classroom is not a huge, you don't create in Google Classroom, so it's not a lot to do with it, but it'll ask you stuff like, let me see. From these options, what are the things you can do in Google Classroom? A, creating an announcement. B, creating assignments. C, create a post. Create a question. D, reuse posts. E, all of the above. You know, so that may be, instead of it being a My mind's going blank, y'all. A scenario question, it may also be a multiple choice question that you may have to go to Google Classroom and see, oh, these are the options. So it could be, it's on all parts of the test, these things that I'm telling you, right? So for example, if we go to Gmail, and these are the stuff you need to know, the how to configure an inbox may actually be a multiple choice question as well. So that's what I'm trying to say. So Gmail, Hangouts, you need to know Hangouts through Gmail and Hangouts by itself. So there you go. Google Calendar, it is on the new, okay, we're good with time. I'm just showing you this and then I'll show you where to get these materials. It is on the new Google Calendar. So if you're still rocking and rolling with the old Google Calendar, the test is on the new Google Calendar. So make sure you know that. For Gmail, it's on the old Gmail. So if you don't even know there is a new Gmail, you're good. You're on the old Gmail. So the test has not been updated to the new Gmail yet. It's on the old Gmail. New calendar, old Gmail. Google Sites is on the new Google Sites, which, I mean, it should just be called Google Sites now. It's been new for some years now. So it is on the new Google Sites as well. So these are the things you need to know for Google Sites, which I honestly think is the easiest part of it. I mean, Google Sites is so easy now, it's ridiculous. Google Groups, if you've never used a Google Group, you definitely need to know how to do Google Groups, and these are the things you need to know about it. And then you have YouTube. So not just searching, and even for searching, it's about searching with a filter. But not just searching, but how to create a channel if needed, which you probably won't have. It's just clicking a button. So, but how to add a video, how to add a poll question to a video and things like that. So, and a lot with playlists, like how to add a playlist, how to share a playlist, and all those good things. Google Keep is one of those products that is starting to creep into the test. So definitely know it. But if you don't get any questions about it, I mean, you still learned it, so congratulations. But Google Keep is one of those products that's starting to creep into the test more and more because it's getting more and more popular. So definitely know your Google Keep. And then this is just for people to actually take my class. So that's that, you don't need that what's next. And I already showed you the resources. So that is pretty much it. Just make sure you know my website, educatoralexander.com. We're about to go there right now, so I can show you. Okay, 5 minutes. So it was 6 minutes. So I can show you where to get the materials. My email me at any time. I am going on about, I'm going to say 8 hours of sleep for about 5 days now. So it's like 2 hours here, 3 hours here. So I'm not responding to emails right now as quickly as I usually do, but I will catch up with emails because I had 3 conferences in 6 days. So I will, I'm dressed to go to a conference, the other conference right now. So emails are a little bit escaping me at the moment, but I will get, you get a quick, you can ask anybody. My reputation is for a quick response, but I'm telling everybody you'll get a response next week. So you can go ahead and email me anything, guys, any questions. If it's mine, it's yours. That's what I tell people, honestly. So just email me. I mean, you know, we all need to help each other. So on my website, educatoralexander.com, if you go to presentations, tech tools, Google, level 1. I'm going to say that again. Go to my website, presentations, tech tools, Google, level 1 certification. I'm going to see what's going on in the chat. Oh my gosh, I wish sleep was my friend. One fancy certificate. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I need sleep to be my friend. Sleep is like a friend that is running away from me right now. Presentations, sleep is like, you're annoying. Presentations, tech tools, Google, level 1 certification. So when you go there, notice it says click on the picture to go to resources. This is where you can go to register. So everything's there. This is for my class. And then if you take my class, I ask you to report if you passed or failed. That's how I know I have a 100% rating, which is yay. But Google, if you click on here, this is the PowerPoint. You cannot download it, but you can look at it on your screen. Just preview it. Thank you. You can look at it on your screen, but you can download the handout. Okay, so you can download this. But even though you can just look at it on your screen, you can click on the links. So you're good. There you go. Okay, so you have access to all the links, everything that I just showed you, you have access to on my website. What website? educatoralexander.com. But where you go though? Presentations, Tech Tools, Google, level 1. Click on the big picture. You're there. You love it. I love it. We're good. All right. So with our last 4 minutes, do I have any questions about anything? You can just hop on the mic. You can click on the chat. Let me pull up my website and email address again if you need it. All right, so any questions from anybody? Thank you for spending time with me today. I know you have a whole bunch of amazing sessions. I will tell you, for each and every session that you do, please go and do the evaluation. So she's already posted the evaluation. I posted another link to the evaluation. That's a hyperlink, so don't even worry about it. Thank y'all for being here. You can just click on it, but you should be doing this evaluation for every class you go into. It's just to help us know, hey, what did you like? It's to help us create a better EdChange Global every year. So your feedback really is used and looked at. So, all right, any questions? I think I told you if you had a question about like pinning a tab and something else, incognito window I can show you, but any questions? You just see me dance and tell. Okay, so I guess we don't have any questions. Mosey along to your next session of whatever awesomeness you're about to learn. You're very welcome. And thank y'all so much. Thank you, appreciate it. All right, I think I'll go ahead and close the room. Or leave the meeting, I guess I should say. Bye, guys.